Israel, and as you mentioned this as well, Israel is in a very tough position. It has to walk a really fine line because ever since Russia entered the Syrian theater, it took control of the Syrian skies, and Israel became dependent on Russia's goodwill to allow it to continue its airstrikes against Iranian-backed targets on Syrian territory. Um, Having said that, what makes this also very difficult and perhaps painful is that Israel, unlike other countries in the Middle East, has a very large immigrant population from the former Soviet Union, including from Ukraine. Zelensky himself is Jewish, and uh, because Ukraine and Israel are fellow democracies, uh, who choose to be part of Western family. Um, Again, Israel, on the one hand, has to walk a really fine line, but also, I think, and again, it's hard for me to to give advice to Israel. I'm not an Israeli citizen, but from a simply moral principle position, um, looking for ways to stand with Ukraine, and also recognizing that, and this will probably be my key advice here, recognizing that Russia is not going to get Iran out of Syria. Unfortunately, when it comes to this particular point, over the last several years, there's been a lot of wishful thinking on the part of the Israeli leadership. And it's understandable that from an Israeli perspective, it's better to have Russia on their doorstep than Iran. But the fact of the matter is, Russia and Iran come together as one strategic set. And it's one thing to look away at Israeli airstrikes when they're targeting foot soldiers. It's quite another, really throwing in a lot of commitment to meaning to push back against Iran in any kind of meaningful way. And that's just not in the cards because Russia specifically relied on Iran to do the heavy lifting in Syria. This is how Russia kept the Syria intervention low cost. This was a very big component of this. And I think, although this is a very tough time, and most recently, Russia criticized uh, 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 Israel, for example, on its position on the Golan Heights in response to some of the Israeli actions. Um, Israel is a very strong state, an independent state, and to the extent that it's possible, taking a principled position in the end always pays off.